Hi, once again in another greenhouse. Lots of things have changed here. Mainly the fact that a lot of them have grown a bit. I moved these two plants out of the other greenhouse and sort of propped them up on this stand. They've done very well. No flowers yet, but well, I'm assuming those flowers flopped over again. The weight of these is so much that I'll have to look at that. Probably need a bigger pot. It only watered a little while ago, well not today, but it was watered. Looks like it's going to need another drink. Yeah, moving along a little bit more. We've got the collection of Xeriosychius and some of the other plants. One there, that's not Dangia, it's the other species. All the other ones are Dangia. They're different clones, by the way. And one right down in the corner there, which hasn't done anything, I'm hoping it will. I picked up off of eBay. It wasn't cheap. It was a cutting. I don't know. I'm assuming it had rooted because I never checked it. I just sort of put it in the pot. Well, at the moment it hasn't done anything, but that doesn't mean it's not going to live. It probably will. The other ones are in good growth. I notice this one here is starting to grow. This barber I got from Italy. This was brought sent across when they were getting very hot weather, so I was rather worried that the plant would arrive in one piece. Well, fortunately it did. That was a while back now, a few weeks, and it has just started to show signs of growth, which is a good thing. God, that one shot up virtually overnight. When they do get going, they do tend to move. But they don't like to get cold. I lost my previous ones of these in the other greenhouse I worked at the time. Unfortunately, the temperature did drop down and they went, so they don't like cold. So I'd keep them a little bit warmer. These ones are in a propagator, not in use at the moment, but I think they'll be okay. Yeah, moving along, you've seen these before, but they've got a bit bigger. Plumosa, Mammillaria plumosa, Adamiscus, Horse Crippler, very slow growing, badly marked unfortunately, but from this area here it's getting back to what it should be like, so you know, it's you have to be so careful with all these plants. Unlike the Lophophora here, it's got a lot of I don't think it's red spider damage. I think the greenhouse is kept too damp for them. But it has messed the plants up quite a bit. Oh, it's okay. I keep looking and seeing things on it, like little bugs and that. But I always keep handy, and I haven't put a can up here, it's in the other greenhouse. I use the fly killer, either the one from Asda or the one from Raid, which seemed to work. I was blamed for that on something on Instagram I put up many years ago, well not many years ago, some years ago, and someone moaned about it, so much so that I haven't bothered with Instagram. Anything I've got now I normally say through YouTube and I'm allowed to say things without interfering busybodies saying, oh, you can't say that, you can't do that. So that's the main reason. It's a great pity, really. Another plumosa down there. I realise these have grown quite a lot. These were plants that came from the lady who I haven't heard of for a long time. I don't know if she's still going. But the plants are certainly growing. You've got the old variegator at the back there. Either variegator or Olsana. Lichtenbergia principus. I don't know if this one's flowered this year. It looked like it might have flowered. Coryphantha, I believe. What this one is, I do not know. It looks like it's going to need a bigger pot as well. It's certainly doing very, very well. Here we've got Matillocactus geometricans. That's growing well. At the back, Gasteria armstrongii. And the back of that, we've got, and I never know the name, so I'm going to have a little look. And the label, name's gone. But it's actually a bromeliad, and that's growing very well. Cleistocactus straussii. It's been in bloom. And aloe behind that, which the name has slipped me. Have to excuse me. I suppose because I'm getting older, I do tend to forget the names. It's a great pity, but there are. You can't grow old and not have all your faculties with you. Some more variegators, large plant of Lophophora again. Another Lophophora, that's had a bit of, I don't know what it was. I think it's probably due to the extreme heat we had, not this year because I've redone all the ventilators and they've been always open. In fact, at the moment I've turned my wee willy winky off because that gives air and it's quite noisy, so while I was filming I turned it off. Probably hear clicking, that's the auto vents opening up. Some of the other plants in the corner. Gasterias, aloes, a nice Euphorbia obesa next to a large Echinopsis. Another Armstrongii. Truncator there, I think. Looking along the back, you've got the collection of glottis. I rather like glottis. You can tell from the ones in the other house. Other plants at the it seems I've got quite a few Echinopsis. These are all plants that came from that person that I was looking after. Well, the plants are mine now. I was looking after them with the promise of paying their upkeep. Having said that, that was heating and never came, so as far as I'm concerned, these plants are now mine. Euphorbia Susannae. Small one compared to that one. Yeah, it's still coming on. Another Euphorbia. Pachypodium. I think that's Pachypodium succulentum. Succulentum, is it? Let's have a look. I do forget the names of some of these things. Put it down to me getting old. Let's face it, I'm going to be 80 soon, so I'm no longer young. Mind you, I do remember the old days. I remember joining the Cactus Society. I was only a kid then. Used to go up to Victoria, to the RHS Hall. It was the Cactus and Succulent Society of Great Britain, which incidentally, I've already mentioned a name, Cyril Parr. He, in fact, was one of the founder members of the Cactus and Succulent Society of Great Britain, along with Percy Collins and the Mammillaria man who lived at Medworth border. Kind of his first name, terrible. He used to do lots of little seedling Mammillarias. I think he sold them for about 1 and 6pence. Gives you an idea. Arthur Border. He was well, in fact, although he was a founder member, the inaugural meeting he couldn't attend because he worked for the police and he was on duty. But for all intents and purposes, he was a founder member of the GB Society, which I joined. I think I was about 8 or 9. I was quite young at the time, and didn't join the National till quite a few years after, because the two societies were, I suppose, friendly enemies, you could say, but they did in fact merge, and the memberships were only taken from memberships of the National. So me being a member for many, many years, my membership number doesn't give a truthful fact that I should have had a lower number in the new society, the BCS. But I suppose you live with these things, they do these things. But it's always been a bit of a thorn in the side. Yeah, a lot of things happened then. They were good days. I quite enjoyed them. Another name which comes to mind, if anyone knows if he's still about, he's done a lot of work with the ASP, African Succulent Plant Society, which I was a founder member as well. Also along with the MSG, I was a founder member of. But the ASP, African Succulent Plant Society, which was a brainchild of Cyril Parr again, was helped by David Watling. But I don't know if he's still going. He was, as far as I know, 10 years older than me, so that would mean he's quite old now, so I don't know. But it was David Watling was his name. He was very keen. He wanted a national collection. And yeah, looking along here, seeing the large Pelospis. These are going to need a drink very soon. Namaquanum, another Echinopsis. Hoping I'm showing the right there. I don't always point the camera in the right direction. Carrying along on that shelf. Some more glottis. I do like glottis. A lot of them, unfortunately, are hybrid. They're hybridised. You've got a Scletium anatomicum. Scletium meaning like a skeleton. Another aloe. Moving further along. I've had to move a lot of the stuff about, so the Lophophorus, which were all in one area, have been distributed few and far between. But at least they're all there. This is Ariocarpus agavioides, obviously named after the fact that the tubercles resemble an agave. We've got what's it? It's rather interesting. Lophophorus produce seeds, and they don't need two plants to do it. They're self-fertile. I suppose if I got my little tweezers out, I could probably hoik out quite a few seeds. And I know Lophophorus are good plants to grow. Seems I've got a few of those. And I've got a few more which we'll have a look at as well. Now, moving on to some small lithops. Small. I've had these a long time. As I say, a lot of these came from MSG seed when they did good seeds. Probably seeds came from Noreen Cole of South Africa. The Coles were experts on conophytums, and I first heard about them many years ago, well before MSG started up, and that was from Clive Innes. He had a nursery in Surrey. I can't think the bloody place was called now. Place names do tend to mess me about, but I used to visit the nursery very often. The nursery's not there now. He had the national collection at one time. Well, I think that's all gone. Great pity. Well, it was through him that I heard about the Coles. He didn't say who the person was, but it turned out that it was in fact the Coles, that they had a fantastic collection of which many lithop seeds were produced. And loads of the seeds now that are in cultivation are from the Coles. You'll often see the number on them. These were all from the Coles, but unfortunately, I just noticed a pussycat out there, which had come from the Coles, and I've had them many years. A lot of these I lost when I got that bad John in his compost, but fortunately these ones have survived and look a little bit better. Some are in bud, some are not looking too good, like that one in the terracotta pot at the back there. As I said before, these plants seem to have a limited life. Now let's look down at the ones in the front. Now this Sericlames is thriving and alive. Unfortunately, its mate is not looking very good in the other greenhouse. It looks like I've got a couple of these Phelmanthus. Titanopsis, is that? I think that's Titanopsis. Ophthalmophyllums, or should I say Conophytum, as they've been reclassified. Two Nellis, which I can't seem to bring back to life. A few more mesems there. We've got Gibeum, I think that is. Gibeum. Chirodopsis. And Puntia. Conophytum. Going across to the next one. We've got a large Caracula. Primosii, is that Primosii? And my collection of seed producing Plusculus. It looks to me like I'm getting a few pods ready, so they'll be sprinkled in that other tray with the Nellis. The Nellis are these ones at the front, and they, as I say, they produce a nice seed pod. Now obviously only cross, well, I don't cross them, I keep species to species. So if I'm tickling them up, I'll only tickle up Cymbalans, which these are, to Cymbalans. Never cross them to Nellis. Okay, if the odd bee gets in, I'm afraid they might do it for me. It's a chance I have to take. But anyway, that's the Pelospis. Not a difficult plant to grow, but one which likes a bit of water and can get on. You more or less withhold water at this stage. You've got the new leaf inside, so you withhold water. So yeah, I've got a few seeds there. I might put another tray up with those rather than mix them in the tray. They're easy enough to sort out once they've germinated. Even when they're young, they are distinct. Yeah, leaving those, we've got a few more. There's a few more Lophophoras. Empty shell. I think that plant's dead. Lariocarpus. Got Pisciform. Monolaria. Monolaria, probably Pisciform. Pisciform means in the shape of a pea, which refers to the growth. You can see the growth there. The bottom of those leaves, it's united and it forms like a pea. So it's Monolaria. The name Monolaria means a string of pearls. Monel, string of pearls. Latin comes in handy in a lot of these. I was never taught Latin at school. But I picked it up from the society, well, books. Now, if people want to find out about a particular plant, or cactus, succulent, they just turn on Google. So much easier. I've got loads of books though, which I had when I started, didn't have Google. Yeah, the last little lot to show you. Gyroderma. I said in the past I visited a grower of the Gyrodermas. Heidi Hartmann, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And she was invited to, that pussycat's outside now, was invited to the collection at Hamburg, was it Hamburg? It was a university. Damn, my memory's getting a bit dodgy. And she had loads and loads of Gyroderma. I think I mentioned this in the past, so I won't go on about it. Some cabbages. These also came from that lady. They do grow a bit like cabbages. Anyhow, that is more or less all in this greenhouse to show you. I'm going to turn my Wee Willie Winky on. Talking about that, I have fans going the whole year round. In the winter time, obviously they provide heat, and in the summertime they provide ventilation, which is essential to prevent hot spots. Might get very hot in the greenhouse, but that will blow away hot spots and keep it cool. Yep, I think that's more or less it. That little light down there is very handy. You might have noticed in the greenhouses I've got neon indicators, and this tells me everything is okay, the electric's on without a fuse being blown or been turned off. So if I'm upstairs in the bedroom, I can look out the window and I can see down in here and think, oh, I'm okay. The electric's on, the little neon light is on. So that is more or less it. Also for extra lighting, which I don't need at the moment, enough sunlight, the LED lamp there, which provides a bit of light to grow the plants under. Anyhow, that is more or less it. Once again, thanks for putting up with my moans and groans. I always like to add a few anecdotes. Probably got plenty more anecdotes I could tell you, but that'll be for another time. So once again, thanks for watching. Thank you.